GM. Well, today our first lesson for the first C Sharp basic programming course. At first, if you didn't look at the basic programming videos I made, please check them out first if you're totally new for programming. So I will show you some stuff and make you make your own first things. Most important, just try this at home. So do it with me, pause the video, retry it, and see what happens. So you should be interactively working on this. Do not just watch it to the end and then think, all right, I guess I know it. You have to have hands-on experience. So that for that. And if you have any questions, difficulties about this, no worries. Just join our Discord. The link will be in the description below. And you can ask all your questions there, discuss about it. I'll be there to help you either way, whatever you want. So at first, here we have like a program, an IDE, which is um, giving you the option to type your code. It helps you with colors to show the commands or what is a little bit so you can easily see it. It will also suggest things like, oh, you don't always have to know the right exact syntax because it will tell you, I will show you that shortly, how that works. So if you want to have such a thing, you can, for example, this is the most used one. It's Visual Studio from Microsoft. You can just download it and work in it. And these IDEs, as it's called, will compile to an actual program which is just executable with a double click. Then I am personally using this one, JetBrains Rider, because I feel it's convenient, but you can choose for yourselves. Visual Studio is completely free and you can use it. Rider is half free, and if you want to have all options, you can always buy a license for a few bucks a month. So that's for that. Then let's get our work into this. First of all, delete this, and we have here like the console is right line with a string. We have talked about this, that a text, which we call a string, is between double quotes. This is your output because you do not have to go to the application separately and run it. You can just execute it here with the play button and it will create an output. It's creating it and it tells you hello world. So it started and it says hello world because I said so. If I do this hello's world, it will rebuild it and then hello's world. So that's for that. We can also, like I said, it's from A to B, right? So if we remove this and look, it's instantly suggesting stuff which we are, sorry, typing from A to B, and it's just telling me like this. If I run this, imagine what will happen. Hello and world. So that's a possibility. Now we have talked about integers, like variables which have a value. So we first say we are creating an integer, which is a number, a whole number, not 1.3 or 6 trillion something. It's just 0, 1, 2, 5, 100, 10,000, etc. So let's call this counter, and we say it's 0. Like this is the reverse math notation. We say this gets a new definition, which is this. So now I can type console.writeLine counter is, and then we do a space because otherwise it's not nice. And we in C sharp we add a plus and we say counter. Look, it's already suggesting in again local variable integer counter. So if we now run this, we have hello world counter is 0. So that makes sense. That's easy, right? Well, now we'll get to the more difficult part because programming isn't programming is if it's dynamic, right? Programming is dynamic. So we say counter is, we give counter a new definition. So this is referring to the old definition because it's creating like what is the outcome of this and then giving it a new value. So now, and we just copy this here and let's see what will happen. Counter is 0, counter is 1. And imagine that if we do this again, no, it will not become 2, it will just say twice. Counter becomes 1, 1, right? For because integers, just normal counting, is used so much, we have some small abbreviations for this because we have, for example, counter plus plus. If we do this again and we run it, we all constantly have to output it because this is your debugging mode. In real, you remove all these lines again because it will create too much output, and output is bad for your performance. So you're only outputting necessary things or stuff if you want to double check what values are coming in. So you see that we did counter plus plus as adding one to the counter. This is always plus one. The counter is, well, you see it here now, it's 2. We can also um, do this in a third time. That's also a way of shorting it, and we do it, for example, plus is 5. So if we run this now and we output it again, we will see that it will be 1, 2 plus 5 is 7, and 7 is coming. So now you already know how to count stuff, right? Now let's go to something else, which is still a way of counting, but you will need this a lot during programming because if there are like areas of interest, how to handle this. We call this a for loop. And the content of it, what should be executed is between these brackets. That's also with functions. That's like almost everywhere in almost every programming language. So if this happens, then this is executed. Um, let's see. And the for loop is a little bit interesting because we also say we first define its starting state, which is, we call this a second counter, and that one is 0. It's always a point comma on the end, by the way, which is also for most programming languages the standard. Then we have a second argument, which is when to execute, and we execute this when the second counter is below 10. Again, this, and then we have what is on has to be executed on the end of the for loop, and that is that we are adding 1. We have seen that here on the second counter. Well, what will we do here? We just run second counter and we will show what will happen. Remember, we're starting at 0 and we only execute when this is below 10. So you see now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 10 is not executed because it's here. If it's below 10 or equal to 10 and we run it then you will see that it's actually executing 11 times. So here are we with counting. And if we say like we have here that it's signaling it's on the end. Let's see, let's first do it like this. Then you will see that it's counting to 2 and showing end that we are past the for loop. But if we say like second counter bigger than 4, what would happen? Let's see, second counter, this stuff has never been reached because second counter is 0 and your conditioning, which was like when may it run, is when it's bigger than 4, but it starts at 0, so it's not even reaching the 4. So it's just literally skipped and going to the end. Well, that's a little bit for integers and counting up right now. Let's continue quickly. We also have the string version, and let's say is my text. Strings are always here. Hello from the other side, and we can again my text. We can just show it into the console and look, hello from the other side. There it is. We can also alter text, for example, and of course I will not learn you all commands because that would be too much, but I'm just showing you the possibilities and will learn you that every item has its own possibilities. Like there are millions of commands you can possibly use to reach any usage. I will show you just one. If we say we give the my text a second definition, and the definition is the current my text, but look at all the things we can do here. If it contains a value, like if it contains side, but then we get into a boolean. We're replacing other with new. And again, let's copy this here and show what will happen. Building it hello from the other side and then hello from the new side. What we can also do is console, let's try that, contains either right line, my text, check. We're checking if my text dot contains, and this is a boolean, so true or false, and it contains new. And we do this 2 times, so we do it here and we do it here if it contains the word new. Well, you obviously know what will happen. The first one, my hello from the other side, and the check is false because the word new is not in it. Here, hello from the other side, check is true because the word new is in it. So that's for that. As you see, we are still running from A to B every time. And also in this loop, it is just running this one and this one and this one. Let me show you quickly that we are running inside the loop also from A to B every time. I'll show you here. Look, start loop, counter, end loop, start loop, counter, end loop, start, counter, end loop, end. So that's that until this isn't true anymore, and then we're continuing to the rest. So for that, I'll remove this a little bit. Let me just remove a lot of this because it will contain a lot of space. And let's check one other thing, and which is a list, which is a form of an array. Again, check the basic programming lessons from me for the other YouTube videos. And we call this the text. And now it's already suggesting how to initialize it, like we are saying. This is a list of type strings, which is called text. And then it's a new list because you have to give it an initial value, right? In C Sharp, it's just noted like this. Your Visual Studio or Writer will automatically do this for you. So now, in that text, we can show like how much amount of text in text plus text dot count. So how much are in it? Let's see it for a little bit. You'll see it here. Hello world, amount of text in text 0. So what do we now? We add first, and we do this again, and you will see the difference. Amount of text in text 1. Now we can, if we want to, we can say like first item, and then we plus this text, and we do this in brackets, like the indexing, like it always starts at 0. You think that counting starts at 1, but in programming, always the first element of anything, of a list, of an array, is always number 0. So you see, if we execute this, we have the first item first. So this value becomes there back. And we can obviously, we make a normal string as we did there. And we call this second text. We can just use spaces, no worries at all. Now we have to add this new text to the text list. And then we can again do this, and it will do this. Like it now has 2 items, and this one has been added. So we have 2 items, first and second text. What we can do now is like we did in the first place, let's say, yeah, let's call it a counter again. And it's again 0 because we are starting at 0. And our value is the counter is lower than the text dot count because we had 2 in it, so it's 0 and 1, right? 0 and 1. First is on position 0, we saw it here, and this becomes position 1, so total 2. And we are counting up 1 at every end of iteration. So now we're doing iteration plus counter plus we adding content, sorry, plus text, and it's in brackets, but now we not use the number 0, but we use the variable, which is an integer counter. So if we run this now, let's wait a little bit, look at here, iteration 0, content is first, iteration 1, content second text. So we are like using the for loop we have learned in the past to run this whole cycle. We can do this also in a second way. We have something which is for each, and this says like string a text in text, and again between brackets for what to do next. This means is way more simple than this, as you see. It's specifically for these kind of applications. Like we have text which is on list, and it contains of strings, so every item in the loop will be just looped as a text. So if we right line this looped or something, whatever for each, give it a name, and we are showing this, then if we execute this, let's see what happens. Look, looped first and second text. So guys, this is enough for now. This you clearly see that we're going from A to B every time again, everywhere we are. We have variables like integers, or we have seen booleans, like if something is true or false, because that is a thing which you're also using very much. Like if this is true, then do something. We will get to the if statements later on. Well, let me actually show you a very simple one. We've seen that these are like, let's make a bonus. If text dot count is bigger than 5, console write line bigger than 5, and we do else console write line lower than 5. So now it is, if this is true, then this is executed. Otherwise, this is executed. So I expect lower than 5 now because the count is only 2, right? Look, lower than 5 is set. And if we say if a count is 0, now it should be true because there are 2 in it still. Look, bigger than 5, but this should be obviously 2. But anyway, or sorry, 0 now in this statement. So but console output is only doing this. Let me show it bigger than 0. All right. So we've seen variables, booleans, and we have seen strings, which is text which is always between double quotes. And we have seen lists, which is a form of an array, like also again, check the basic programming lessons, and you will see what will happen. Try this at home, play with it, try along with it, and we'll move on to the next lesson shortly. All right, guys, take care and good luck. Bye bye.